These are 10 unsolved mysteries that'll keep you up at night. These enigmas have baffled minds and sparked debates, leaving a trail of suspicion and questions in their wake. Jack the Ripper. Victorian London and the dimly lit streets echo a sense of terror. Everyone knows to be cautious. A figure shrouded in mystery stalks the night, embodying pure terror. Jack the Ripper, as he was known by, would become synonymous with fear, stalking the alleys of the East End in autumn of 1888. The Ripper's reign of terror was hyper-focused upon the city's Whitechapel district, where he preyed exclusively on women who would meet a brutal end, leaving them brutally disfigured in a shocking, appalling manner. The Ripper's profile was not just murder, but a savage display that left a message for all to see. There was a lot of pressure on the Metropolitan Police and its detectives to find answers. Of course, the efforts bordered on obsession for some, yet Jack the Ripper and his identity would evaporate with him into the foggy London night, with his identity never uncovered. This spawned many theories on who he could be, ranging from being a surgeon to a member of the royal family itself, some being a stretch but still trying to make sense of what was left behind in his trail. This mystery was particularly chilling, not just due to the brutal nature of the slayings, but also because of the taunting letters sent to police, mocking them for their inability to catch him and claiming responsibility for the incidents. This case was a conglomerate of dead ends and pure frustration, with over 100 suspects taken into consideration, but none of which that could be conclusively proven to be the killer. Jack the Ripper's ability to elude capture for so long led to a sense of panic and unrest in London at the time. To this day, it's left behind a fascinating puzzle for criminologists, historians and sleuths to try to piece together in search of answers, yet it's a story that will likely never see its final chapter as conclusion. The Bermuda Triangle. There's a segment of the Atlantic Ocean that's bordered by Miami, Puerto Rico and Bermuda itself. It's a region that has become synonymous with unexplained disappearances. Countless ships and airplanes have simply vanished without a trace, inciting fear and speculation about what may lie beneath its waves or within its airspace. This is the Bermuda Triangle. The legend of this zone began to take shape sometime in the 20th century, when the reports of unexplained disappearances in the area began to accumulate, leaving together a narrative of mystery and danger. One high-profile incident was the case of the disappearance of Flight 19, a US Navy fleet of 5 bombers on course during a training mission in 1945. The squad leader reported navigational difficulties and disorientating weather conditions before communications flatlined. A rescue plan was sent out to try to find them, but it also disappeared. Despite further searches high and low to find the lost planes and men, no type of wreckage or any bodies were ever recovered, leaving the 14 missing men completely lost in limbo. There's been a number of theories about the Bermuda Triangle's mysteries over the years, ranging from magnetic anomalies affecting compass readings to methane hydrates releasing gas and causing surrounding ships to sink. Yet for all of these logical explanations comes an incident soon after that defies any understanding, causing the iceberg of this legend to grow ever deeper. The disappearance of Amelia Earhart. Amelia Earhart was a pioneer in aviation, but her disappearance shocked the world for decades after. She had initially set out to achieve a monumental feat in 1937, to course the globe along the equator by plane. She was accompanied by Fred Noonan, her navigator. Of course, this was a bold and dangerous attempt, and it certainly pushed the boundaries of early aviation at the time. However, on July the 2nd, during perhaps the most challenging leg of the journey from Papua New Guinea to Howland Island in the Pacific, both of them went missing. The search to try to locate them was extensive, but both of them were never found, nor were their aircraft. Her disappearance, of course, was fuel for the fire of theories and speculating. Some people suggested that perhaps they ran out of fuel and nosedived into the Pacific Ocean, while some others believed they had been captured by Japanese forces on the lead up to World War II. But some of the more recent of theories highlight the possibility that maybe they landed on a remote island and survived for some time before succumbing to the harsh natural elements. Expeditions have ventured out to search the remote islands of the Pacific for evidence over the years, but while some intriguing trinkets and objects have been found, nothing conclusive that could link to their disappearance has emerged. The Black Dahlia murder. It was one of the most gruesome killings in American history. It was January of 1947 and a body in terrible condition was found, identified as the Lady Elizabeth Short, discovered in a vacant lot in Los Angeles. The most tragic and shocking thing was that the body had an incision on at the waist, and it was completely drained of blood. The precision of this horrendous disfiguring and the nature of how the body lay was what caused dread and terror through the city. The case was dubbed the Black Dahlia, named after a popular film noir of the time. This case was an obsession by the news media, the public, and the investigating LA Police Department at the time. There were hundreds of suspects included in the investigation, all cross-examined in an exhaustive effort, not to mention the widespread coverage by the media, yet they could never catch the killer red-handed. The mystery continued to deepen with the discovery of cryptic notes that were sent to the newspapers and police by someone claiming to be responsible, taunting them for their lack of success. Numerous theories emerged over the years, some promising the killer was a disgruntled lover seeking revenge, or that Hollywood elites were responsible, or perhaps simply a disturbed individual who seeked fame. Lost Colony of Roanoke. One of the oldest unsolved mysteries in North America is a haunting tale of disappearance. It was 1587 and a group of English settlers had arrived on Roanoke Island, off the coast of what we now know as the present-day North Carolina, with the aim to establish the first English colony within the New World. Led by John White, they faced immediate challenges from scarce resources to tense relations with the indigenous natives. White returned back to England to gather supplies, leaving behind over 100 settlers in the group, even including his own granddaughter Virginia Dare, the first English child who had been born in America. However, when he finally returned in 1590, 3 years later, after some delays due to war with Spain, he found his settlement completely deserted, with no trace left behind of its colonists. The only clue found was the word Croatoan carved into a post and Crow carved into a tree, suggesting they might have moved to Croatoan Island, which is now known as Hatteras Island. Despite this clue though, all searches revealed no sign of them. Over the centuries, many theories emerged to try to explain the fate of the lost colonists. Some of them pondered on the idea that they were assimilated into the local Native American tribes, while some others proposed they could have tried to return back to England and got lost at sea. Yet some others still speculate about some more sinister fates, maybe by the hands of the natives or something else. No definitive evidence has since been found to date to explain what happened, and it's gone down in history and American folklore to symbolize the dangers of the unknown world. The Phoenix Lights. On the evening of March the 13th, 1997, an unexplained phenomenon happened over the skies of Phoenix, Arizona. Thousands of people witnessed a gigantic V-shaped formation of lights that moved silently across the night sky, an event that would come to be known as the Phoenix Lights, one of the most documented UFO sightings in history. And to bring cadence to this event, people from all walks of life reported observing it, including police officers, military personnel, and even public officials, making it difficult to simply just dismiss it as some kind of optical illusion or misidentification. There were credible people and high-ranking officials vouching for actually seeing this phenomenon. Of course, the government needed to issue an official explanation, which came from the US Air Force, who claimed that the lights were flares dropped by an A-10 Warthog aircraft during a training exercise at the Barry Goldwater Range. Yet, many of the witnesses and even UFO researchers have disputed this official statement, giving reason to the coherence of the formation of the lights, the duration of its presence, which lasted several hours, and the lack of noise typically that you would associate with an aircraft. Furthermore, the flares did not even account for the reports of a massive solid object seen by some of the observers, who claimed it blocked out stars in the night sky. It's been researched by UFO research groups and even by officials, yet the nature and the origin of these lights have never been explained. Some believe it was a secret military operation, others think it was a natural atmospheric phenomenon, yet the majority believe that it was conclusive evidence of extraterrestrial contact with Earth. The Pollock Twins. In the small town of Hexham, England in 1957, a tragedy met the Pollock family when 2 of their daughters, Joanne and Jacqueline, were killed in a car accident. Of course, the parents, John and Florence, were absolutely devastated, understandably, yet they simply wished that their daughters were at peace and yearned for a sign of this. Their wish seemingly appeared to be granted in a most unexpected way, when a year later, Florence gave birth to twins, Gillian and Jennifer. From an early age, the twins exhibited behaviours and knowledge that eerily mirrored the previous lives of their sisters. They recognized the toys that belonged to the lost sisters without even seeing them before, and displayed many of the same preferences and phobias as them. Even more of an astonishment was that Jennifer displayed a birthmark on her waist that was similar to a scar that Jacqueline had, and another on her forehead that mirrored a birthmark of Jacqueline's. The girls even asked to visit parks and landmarks in the town that they had never seen before, but the first sisters had loved. Skeptics tried tried to explain this, stating reasons like genetic memory or parental influence, yet nobody could fully account for the very specific memories that the twins had or their behaviours that so closely matched those of their sisters. This case has been long thought to be paranormal in some sense, or proof of reincarnation being possible. The Lead Masks Case. Vintum Hill in Rio de Janeiro, Brazil, holds a chilling mystery. It was 1966, on August the 20th, in which two bodies of electricians, Manuel Pereira de Cruz and Miguel Jose Viana, were discovered by a young boy who was out flying a kite. The scene was so confusing. Both men lay side by side, dressed up in suits, raincoats and lead eye masks used typically as protection against radiation. No signs of violence were evident on their bodies or any clues of such thing at the crime scene. What deepened this mystery was the items found nearby with the bodies: a water bottle, a towel, and a notebook containing cryptic information, instructions that hinted at an experiment involving intense light and possibly even psychedelics. The note read, 1630, be at the specific location, 1830, ingest capsules. After the effect, protect metals, wait for mask signal. However, no capsules or substances were found at the scene, and the cause of death could never be determined. Investigations after the fact showed that Cruz and Viana had left their hometown, telling their family they were just going to buy some work materials, but they instead bought some coats and the water bottle they were found with. They also held a ticket for a bus to Niterói, where they were last seen alive. The purpose of this journey, the nature of the noted experiment they wished to conduct, and the meaning behind the lead masks that they were found with still remains a perplexing enigma. People tried to explain it, speculating that it was some bizarre science experiment gone wrong, or that there was an involvement of UFOs or extraterrestrials, which was in part due to the reported UFO sightings at the time in the area, but no conclusive answer has ever been found. The Babushka Lady. There was a strange unknown lady who was captured in photographs and film footage taken during one of the most tragic and pivotal moments in American history, the tragic end of President John F. Kennedy in Dallas, Texas on November the 22nd, 1963. Amidst all of the chaos that was happening, in pure confusion and scrambling after the shots were fired, a woman simply referred to as the Babushka Lady was seen calmly filming the event, seemingly unfazed by the violence and pandemonium that surrounded her. Dressed in a Russian headscarf typically worn by elderly Russian women, she seems somewhat out of place. It wasn't her presence in the scene, but the fact that the FBI's investigations and their public appeals could never actually find her true identity, and they could never locate or source the film that she shot. Of course, they wanted to seek new perspective on the event to find clues surrounding it, so civilians' footage would have deemed useful. Several women claimed to be the Babushka Lady over the years, one being Beverly Oliver, who publicly claimed in the 1970s that she was the mysterious figure and that the FBI had seized her footage. Yet there were too many inconsistencies in her story that led to public doubt. The true identity of the Russian woman and the contents of her film, if even exists, still remains unknown. Some people crafted theories that she was connected in some way to the plans, or that she was affiliated with a government or a foreign government, or was some kind of spy from an intelligence agency. Yet she still lingers as a symbol of the mysteries that surround this historical event, and it's unclear whether any of these theories have any truth to them whatsoever. Max Headroom broadcast signal. On the evening of November the 22nd, 1987, during a routine newscast, there was an audacious and perplexing event, a surreal breach of security in which two television stations in Chicago were hijacked by an unknown individual wearing a Max Headroom mask, a character known for his distinctive digitally altered appearance and stuttering voice, originally from a British TV series and being a spokesperson for New Coat. The first intrusion took place on WGN-TV, lasting only around 25 seconds and ended before the hijacker could do much more than confuse viewers and employees. Yet later that night, a second one that lasted much longer occurred on WTTW during a Doctor Who broadcast. This time, the person broadcasting a bizarre and rambling message with incoherent statements and ending with him being spanked by a fly swatter. Despite its comedic elements, the implications outline the vulnerability of broadcasts and the ability to gain unauthorized access to them. The Federal Communications Commission, the FCC, investigated it as a serious breach of federal law, yet they could not trace the signal or identify the responsible person, and nobody was ever caught or charged, and the stunt motives remain misty. Which of these mysteries interests you the most? And do you have any theories of your own related to any of them? Let me know in the comments below. Don't forget to like and subscribe, or UFOs will get you.